Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you very much for your kind association. Let's get started. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhakti Vedanta Swami iti namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Gurvagya Shirasi Dhritva Shaktyaveša Swarupine Hare Krishneti Mantrena Paschatya Prachatarine Gaura Shri Rupa Siddhanta Saraswati Nishevine Radha Krishna Padambojau Bhringaya Gurave Namaha. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati iti namine. Shri Varshabhanavi Devi Daitaya Kripabdhaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Daine Prabhave Namaha. Madhuryojvala Premadhya Shri Rupanuga Bhaktida Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dinatarine Rupanuga Viruddha Apasiddhanta Dhvanta Harine Namo Gaura Kishoraya Sakshad Vairagya Murtaye Vipralambha Rasambodhe Padambujhayate Namaha. Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Satchidananda Namine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanuga Varayate Gauravir Bhava Bhumestvam Nirdeshta Sajjana Priya Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Shri Jagannathayate Namaha. Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Uddama Bhava Pashunam Alavalguhasa Vridavalokannihato Madano Piyasam Sammuya Chapamajahat Pramadottamasta Yasyendriyam Vimathitum Kuhakairna Shekuhu. Shri Suta Goswami spoke to the sages at Naimisharanya. Although the queen's beautiful smiles and furtive glances were all spotless and exciting, and although they could conquer Cupid himself by making him give up his bow in frustration, and although even the tolerant Lord Shiva could fall victim to them, still, despite all their magical feats and attractions, the queens of Dwarka could not agitate the senses of the master of the senses, Lord Krishna, Rishikesh. Bhavadvidha Bhagavata Tirtha Bhuta Swayam Vibho Tirthi Kurvanti Tirthani Swantasthena Gadabhrita. Dharmaraj Yudhishthir Maharaj is speaking to Vidurji, who is Yamaraj. My lord, devotees like your good self are verily holy places personified. Why? Because you carry the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, Gadabhrita, within your heart. And that's why you can turn all places into Tirtha. places of pilgrimage. Tirthi kurvanti tirthani. Tulayamalavenapi na sargam na punarbhavam bhagavat sangi sangasya martyanam kimitashishah. Martyanam kim utashishah. The value of a moment's association with the devotee of Krishna cannot even be compared to the attainment of heavenly planets, Swargam, or liberation, Na Punarbhavam. And what to speak of worldly benedictions in the form of material prosperity, which are for those who are meant for death. Tiraskrita vipralabdha shapta क्षिप्ता हता अपि नास्य तत्प्रतिकुर्वन्ति तद्भक्ता प्रभवोपिहि. So previous verse was spoken by the sages of Naimisharanya to Sri Suta Goswami about the importance of sadhu sangha, bhagavat sangi sangasya. This verse, tiraskrita vipralabdha shapta shipta hata api nasya tat pratikurvanti tad bhakta prabhavopihi, spoken by Sri Shamik Rishi to Krishna. The devotees of the Lord are so forbearing that even though they are defamed, cheated, cursed, disturbed, neglected, or even killed, atapi, they are never inclined to avenge themselves. Punascha bhuyad bhagavatanante rati prasangascha tadashrayeshu mahatsuyamyam upayami shrishtim Maitrastu sarvatra namo dvijebhyah. Shri Parishit Maharaj is speaking to all the sadhus on the banks of Ganga. Again, offering obeisances unto all of you Brahmanas, I pray that if I should take my birth again in this material world, I will have complete attachment to the unlimited Lord Krishna, association with his devotees, and friendly relations with all living beings. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you very much for your kind association. We'll continue our study of Granthara Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. And we are reading from verse number 12 onwards, 12th chapter, first canto. Śrīmad Bhāgavatam 1.12.12. This chapter is entitled The Birth of Maharaj Parikshit. So, Suta Goswami, being questioned by Shaunak Ādi Rishis, is replying to their question about the birth, activities, and death of Maharaj Parikshit. So Shri Suta Goswami is saying, Tata sarva gunodar ke sanukula grahodaye jadne vamsha dharah pandor bhuya pandor ivaujasa. Translation and purports by our beloved founder Acharya Nityalila Pravishtha Om Vishnupad Shri Śrīmad Abhay Charanarvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Thereupon, when all the good signs of the zodiac gradually evolved, Sanukula Grahodaye, all the grahas were anukul. The heir apparent of the Pandu dynasty, Vamshadhara Pandor, heir apparent, Vamshadhara, he's going to hold the Vamsha together. Vamshadhara Pandor, the heir apparent of the Pandu dynasty, who would be exactly like King Pandu in prowess, took birth. Maharaj Parikshit took birth. This verse of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam 1.12.12 is the verse describing the birth of Maharaj Parikshit, because of whom Śrīmad Bhāgavatam could take birth in this world. So very beautiful. All the grahas, they became Anukul, and in the family of Maharaj Pandu, our Parishit Maharaj appeared. Purport. Astronomical calculations of stellar influences upon a living being are not suppositions but are factual, as confirmed in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Dear devotees, this is important for us to understand. Srila Prabhupada ji is saying that astrology, it is not just a supposition, but it is factual. And this is confirmed in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. And we will see. At the birth of Maharaj Parikshit, his entire life story was foretold. That he will become a powerful king. All his qualities were described, how he will be charitable, how he will be strong, how he will be fear personified for the miscreants. But it also describes that he will be cursed. Maharaj Parikshit has just taken birth, and already it is predicted that he will be cursed by the son of a Brahman, and he will be bitten by the snake bird Takshak, and he will die. Just see. Maharaj Parikshit has just taken birth, and everything is known about his life, activities, and his death, just based on astrology. Which means that when we take birth, the most important events in our life, the most important activities in our life are already predestined based on our karma. Just like when we take a flight, we may have a connecting flight, or we may have a stopover or something. We may have a breakfast break on the flight. We may have a lunch break on the flight. So all these events are already decided. And which airport we are going to land, that is also pre-decided when we take a flight, correct? Similarly, in our life, all these important events are predestined. When we will meet our spouse, when we will get cancer, when we will die, when we will have a hip fracture. All these things are predestined based on prarabdha. And at the same time, we also have free will. So when we board a flight, our destination is predestined, where the flight is going to stop and land. But what we do on the flight, we have a free choice. We can either sit and watch 5 movies on the flight, the entertainment system, or we can read Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. We can chant japa. One very great, respectable Gaudiya Vaishnava, he started preaching in the Western world. And in the 1990s, late 1990s. And one devotee was telling, he had gone to receive this Vaishnava at the airport. So he landed at the airport, and the car was ready. And then this Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharya, he sat in the car. So this devotee asked that, Maharaj, what did you do on the flight? It was a 16-17 hour flight. So Maharaj said that 16 hours, I just completed my 192 rounds. As the flight was landing, I finished my 3 lakh. 5.5 hours for 1 lakh. Some acharyas can chant like that. So 16 hours, he chanted 3 lakh on the transatlantic flight. So it's a choice. We can chant, we can read Bhagavatam, we can hear some Hari Katha, or we can watch movies, or we can just chit chat and do time pass, or we can sleep. Isn't it? We have a choice. We can walk in the aisle, we can go to the restroom, we can talk to people, we can even order wine, we can swipe our credit card and order wine on the flight. So many options we have. Free will is there. So we have to understand in life, both are there. There is prarabdha. Many things in our life are predestined, but there is plenty of free will. And what we do on the flight will decide our next destination. What happens to us next? For example, if someone gets into a fist fight on the airplane, or on the airplane, someone tries to hijack the airplane, what will happen when the flight lands at the airport? There will be cops with guns ready to take you to jail. So what happens to us depends on our free will. And what is happening to us is because of our previous karma. So Srila Prabhupada is saying very clearly that astrology is not just a supposition, it is factual. And this is confirmed in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Every living being is controlled by the laws of nature at every minute, Srila Prabhupada is saying. So we are not independent, we are controlled. We are not the controllers. We feel we are controllers. We want to be controllers, but we are not. We will not be. And we were never controllers. We are controlled. We are controlled. Further down in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says that yajnartha karma. In Bhagavad Gita, we are said that we have to do karma for the sake of yajna. Yajna is the Vishnu Murti who presides over all the yajnas. Bhoktaram yajna tapasam sarva loka maheshwaram. Krishna. So work has to be done for the sake of Krishna. If not, it binds us. Work will bind us. But if we do work for Krishna, then it doesn't bind us. So we have been in this material world very long. All of us have discussed in the previous discussion also, Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, we discussed how Brahmaji is 50 years old now. 51st year is going on. So being in this Brahmanda, it is likely that we have been here when the Brahmanda was created. As Jivas, we were impregnated into this Brahmanda by Lord Mahavishnu. So we have been here many times. Many times we have been in this world when Krishna was performing his Leela. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was performing. We were there. Either we did not accept their mercy or we were not touched by their mercy. Sparshopi mam na bhavat. Vanchitosmi, vanchitosmi, vanchitosmi in samshaya. Vishwam gaura rase magnam. Sparshopi mama na bhavat. Vanchitosmi, vanchitosmi, vanchitosmi na samshaya. So either we were not touched or we did not accept the mercy. But the fact is that we were there when Krishna Lila was going on, where Gaur Lila was going on. We don't know where we were. Some insect or some uncivilized people. Who knows what we were doing, where we were. But we were there in the same universe somewhere. Maybe we were suffering in hell or maybe we were enjoying in the heaven. Who knows? But we have missed so many opportunities. So whatever karma we have done, we have through so many lifetimes. And this is just one Brahmanda, one life of Brahma. But Krishna bhuliya se jiv anadi bahirmukh. Mahaprabhu says in Chaitanya Charitamrita, anadi bahirmukh. We have been forgetful of Krishna for a very, very long time, since time immemorial. Anadi. Which means there was never a time when we were with Krishna, when we were not forgetful of Krishna. We have always been forgetful of Krishna. Anadi bahirmukh. So we can only imagine how much stockpile of karma we have. It's like Mount Sumeru. And a small portion is taken out and this body is given to us. That is prarabdha. Good and bad karma is mixed and we are given. So we have good experiences in life, we have bad experiences in life. We have Krishna Paksha and we have Shukla Paksha. Shukla Paksha is the bright, happy moments and Krishna Paksha is dark moments. But Krishna Paksha should take us close to Krishna, like Gajendra, like Draupadi. So we go through good and bad times. And this huge stockpile of karma is there for us. When we come in this material world, we come to enjoy because we want to become enjoyers. We want to become controllers and proprietors. And for that, Krishna has given the Dharma Vidhi. In the Dharma Shastra, we are told what we can do, what we cannot do. What is Vidhi and what is Nishedh. What we are supposed to do, what we are not supposed to do. And within the boundary of Dharma, we do some activities and we get sense gratification that we want. Dharma Artha Kam. Kam. We fulfill our Kam, our Kamna, by earning Artha through Dharma. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. So like that. But the problem with sense gratification is that we want more and more and more. We are never satisfied. We are never satisfied because there is greed. When there is fulfillment of Kam, then there is Lobh. Kama esha krodha esha rajoguna samudbhava mahashano mahapapma vedyanam eva vairina. Trividam narakasyedam dvaram nashanam atmana kama krodha tatha lobhas tasmad uttarayam tajet. Because when we have Kamna, it is rajoguna samudbhava. It comes from Rajogun. And the nature of Rajogun is, it burns like fire. Rajogun. We want more passion, more desires, more akanksha, more hankering. And when we want more and more, then dharma cannot provide. Because dharma is a bull. Bull can plow the land only so much. But we are greedy. We want hundreds and thousands of acres of land to be tilled, to be plowed. Then we have to employ tractors. Ugra karma. We have to employ tractors. So when our desires for sense gratification are unlimited, then dharma alone cannot supply. So then we break the rules of dharma to fulfill our material desires. And that becomes vikarma. When we do activities within the jurisdiction of dharma to get artha and kam, that is called karma kand. We are following dharma to get sense enjoyment, indriya tripti, that is karma kand. But when we go beyond the boundaries of dharma to fulfill our uncontrolled desires, adanta gobher vishitam tameshra, punah punascharvita charvanana, then we do vikarma. Dharma viruddha acharan is vikarma. Because now the desires are too much. Rajogun is too much. It has led to lobh. Kama, krodha, tatha, lobhas. Lobh. So we want more and more. Then we do vikarma. So there is karma which keeps us in this material world, enjoying, suffering, and then we do vikarma, hoping that it will give us nectar, but it is poison. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, that which seems like nectar in the beginning becomes like poison. Vikarma. Very tempting. We do little bit, illegal, but theek hai, chalta hai yaar, I will get this, I will get enjoyment. So we bend the rules, we break the rules, and we do vikarma to get what we want, indriya tripti. But that will lead to such a disaster in our life. Such punishment will come through the laws of nature that we will not be able to tolerate. सह नहीं पाएंगे हम लोग. इतनी यातना मिलती है यातना शरीर में. We get a yatana sharir after this life if you have performed sinful activities. 5th canto Śrīmad Bhāgavatam describes the nature of this yatana sharir is it is extremely sensitive to perceive pain. More sensitive than a human body in perceiving pain. बहुत यातना होती है, बहुत pain experience होता है. We experience so much pain. But the yatana sharir doesn't die until the punishment is completed. There will be animals, they will come and bite our flesh. There will be birds, they will peck at us. We will be thrown into fire. We will be thrown from cliffs on trees of thorns. The thorns will pierce, but we will not die. Human body will die quickly. We will not die. That is called yatana sharir. It is given by Yamraj. So there is karma, then there is vikarma. But Prabhupada is saying, when we do yajnartha karma, when we do karma for Krishna, like Krishna says in 11th chapter, last verse, mat karma krin. If we do karma for Krishna, or like Krishna says, I think in the 9th chapter, yat karosh yad ashnashi, yad juhosi dadase, tat kurush, yat tapasasi kaunde tat kurusha madarpanam. If we do Krishna arpanam, everything for Krishna's sake, then it is called akarma. So there is karma, there is vikarma, and there is akarma. Akarma burns to ashes the stockpile, the mountain of our good and bad karma. When we do akarma, when we do bhakti, Krishna bhakti, it burns down the whole mountain of karma that we have, good karma and bad karma, pious and impious karma. Everything is just burnt to ashes. Bharjanam bhavabijanam chinatsi ghoram bhavapasha bandham. It's just finished, deleted, khadam, cannot be found. It's gone, finished, permanently. That is the power of bhakti. Therefore, Krishna can say in Bhagavad Gita, Sarva dharman parityaja mamekam sharanam raja aham tvam sarva papebhyo moksheshyam. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo moksheshyam. Everything will be finished if we do Krishna sharanagati. Mamekam sharanam raja. Daiviyesha gunamai mama maya duratya. Mamevaya prapadyante maya metantam. Only Krishna can burn that mountain of our individual stockpile of karma. But the prarabdha that we have got in this life, this body is made up of prarabdha. That little bit piece from that mountain that was taken. That prarabdha we have to face in this life. Therefore, it appears that, अरे यार ये तो इतना chanting करता है फिर भी cancer हो गया. This person is chanting, still he got accident, got a fracture. Why? Why these bad things are happening to devotees? Because it's our prarabdha and we have to face that. It is for our purification. When we suffer, all those sins that we are supposed to suffer, they are diminishing with every suffering. So a devotee is not bothered, welcomes it. Tattenu kampam susamikshamano. Susamikshamano is just earnestly waiting for Krishna's mercy. Tattenu kampam, and for Krishna's anukampa, eagerly waiting. Tattenu kampam susamikshamano. Bhunjana. Bhunjana means to tolerate. Bhunjana eva atmakrit. Whatever is happening, it is because of our own karma. Vipakam. Atmakrit vipakam. Vipakam means bad activities. So like that. Prabhupada further down says, a man's destiny is therefore ascertained by the birth time constellation of stars, and a factual horoscope is made by a learned astrologer. It is a great science, Prabhupada says. It's a great science. So astrology is a great science. It is factual. It is not imaginary. It actually works. But we need a good astrologer. The problem is now there are very few good astrologers. Those who have actually studied the Bhrigu Samhita and like that. So, but there are astrologers who are very good. They can predict very, very accurately. And there was once astrologer. This is a true story I'm telling you. I've heard this in one of the Vyas Puja offerings. There was one devotee. He was interested to know what is going to happen. So he went to an astrologer in South India who is studied Bhrigu Samhita and very, very well. Traditionally, he has learned astrology in the traditional way, without charging any money, nothing. Just it's a science. And it's the family business. His father, grandfather, all ancestors, they were all astrologers in South India. Very nice Brahmin family. He is there even today, alive in South India. So this devotee from Bombay went. He is initiated devotee. He took his wife and son, and the astrologer did the chart for all of them. And he said, "Tumhara itna kuch khas problem nahi hai," he told the devotee. But your wife, she will not live very long life. In fact, she is going to get some major problem in her stomach, and she will probably perish in the next few years. And your son, he will have a lot of difficulties academically, and he will not even graduate. I'm telling you a true story. I know this family personally. So this was told. And so he was a little depressed. So he came and he asked his spiritual master, Srila Radhanath Swami Maharaj, that Maharaj, is very depressing. I just went, I thought everything good, they will tell astrologers, but this astrologer gave horrible news. He said, my wife is going to die and my son will not even graduate. So I'm feeling very troubled by this prediction. So Maharaj said, yes, astrology is a great science, and the greatest astrologer on this planet was His Divine Grace, Śrīmad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada. He wrote the Surya Siddhanta, which all these astrologers follow. And what did Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada do? He rejected astrology. Why? Because it is not parodharmo. Savai pumsam parodharmo yatho bhaktir adhokshaje. Ahetuki apratihataya atmasu. He rejected, because this is not parodharmo. This is not sarva dharman paritteja. Sarva dharman paritteja means leave this astrology dharma also. Chhod do. Kya hai? It will tell you that there are going to be problems, there is going to be cancer, there is going to be unemployment, there is going to be lack of... What is this world? There is padam padam vipadam anyway. We know it. Bhagavatam has already said. Bhagavad Gita has already taught us this is dukkhalaya shashvatam. So what new? What is the new news? Nothing new. We all know we are going to die. We are going to fall sick. We are going to perish. Some perish, like Srila Prabhupada writes in his song, like the bubbles of the foam. Some bubbles pop immediately. Some bubbles pop after 5 seconds. Some bubbles pop after 10 seconds, 15 seconds, but they're all going to pop. Kamala dala jala jivana talamala. Like a drop on the leaf. Little wind will come. It's going to glide down. Where is the dewdrop gone? Finished, gone, disappeared. That's our human life. Shana Bhangur. Today it is there, tomorrow it is not there. So just do bhajan and take to Krishna consciousness very seriously. So this devotee said, okay. This was years ago, 35 years ago. Ki baat hai ye. So he said, okay, Guru Maharaj, whatever you say. Now, many years passed, many decades passed. And one very famous devotee in Mumbai was getting married. And it was a very big marriage, well attended by many movers and shakers of society. And by this time, this astrologer had become very famous. And Sunil Gavaskar, Sachin Tendulkar, and all these big politicians also, they used to go to this astrologer. Very famous. All the celebrities would go. Even some bogus gurus would go to find out what's going to happen to them, to this astrologer. And he never charged a penny. So anyway, this astrologer became very famous. And so he came to attend this marriage in Bombay. And he saw this same devotee with his wife standing in line to bless the couple. They were all standing in line. So he couldn't resist. He went and he said, what happened? I had predicted years ago that your wife will not have a long life, and I see she has got gray hair and she's in her 60s now. I'm happy that she's alive, but this bewilders me because she was not supposed to live. And then the son was next to them in a three-piece suit. He said, yeah, he's a nice businessman. He graduated, he did a master's also, did MBA. So he said, oh, this is so bewildering. He said, but you know what? My guru is almost 100 years old, but he's still alive. I'm going to go and ask him, what is this? How could this prediction go wrong? Because it's a perfect science. The prarabdha has to play out. It has to play out. So he went back after that to South India, and later on he took their phone number, and later on he called this devotee and said that, yes, I spoke to my Guru Maharaj. I told my guru, my astrology guru, that my prediction went completely wrong and this family is hale and hearty. So this guru told this astrologer, asked this astrologer, are they devotees of Krishna? And are they initiated in a bona fide sampradaya? So he said, yes, they are initiated and they are devotees of Krishna. So he said, then why are you making predictions for them? Don't you understand that Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Sarva Dharman Parityaja Mamekam Sharanam Raja Ham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Moksheshaya Masucha, that the pure devotees are under Krishna's control. And Krishna is beyond all planets. In fact, every planet on the astrological chart has got a predominating deity. And all of them are Vishnu Murtis. Like Jupiter has a predominant deity, it's Lord Narasimhadev. Like that. Every planet, it has got a predominant, and they're all Vishnu Murtis, Vaman, Varahadev, like that. So he said, all these planets are under Krishna. So why are you even wasting your time making predictions? You should tell these devotees who are initiated and who are sincere, they are chanting Harinam, that you are Krishna's puppets. Krishna can do anything. He can let the prarabdha play out, or he can change the prarabdha also. Like that. There was another devotee. He, this is a little old story, but I heard from a sadhu when I had gone to Vrindavan this time. I heard this personally. So the sadhu was saying that there was a person, and he was a very strong proponent of Hindu dharma, and he lived in an area where there was a lot of people who are Vidharmis. They are against dharma, and they were scheming to break into his house and beat him when those riots took place. So this is, I think, 1990 something, 1991, 90, I forgot now, when those riots took place in India. So they had a full plan that किसी को मारेंगे तो इसको मारेंगे, क्योंकि हमारे इलाके में रहता है और हिंदू धर्म का प्रचार करता है. So they had decided, when this happens, we are going to, the riots break, we are going to destroy his house and just murder him, burn his whole family members. And the riots took place and there was mass destruction everywhere. So many people from both sides were killed, unfortunately. It was a big tragedy. But somehow nothing happened to this family. And one astrologer had previously predicted that this year is going to be very bad for him, and he may lose his life, he may lose his house, like that. But then the riots also happened, so everything was lining up. It was a perfect storm for him to lose his life and to lose his house, but nothing happened. So after the riots, some people went to visit him with this astrologer who had predicted that this year will be very bad for this fellow. He will lose that house and he will probably lose his life also. They went and he was fine. They asked him what happened. He said, I don't know. It is Krishna's mercy. Nothing happened. Somehow they didn't come to my house. Nobody came to bother me. He said, but that afternoon when those riots were taking place, the first day, he said, I had a dream in the afternoon. I was taking a nap and I had a dream. And in my dream, many Vidharmis came and they burnt me. And they murdered my family members and they burnt my house. And I woke up and in his typical Thasak, he said, and because in my dream I was touched by Vidharmis, I immediately got up, took bath, did Achaman, did my Gayatri and everything, whatever. But nothing happened to me. So the astrologer said that actually this was going to happen sakshat. Prakat mein hone wala tha aisa. You are going to lose your life, your house, everything. But because you are a devotee of Krishna, you had to face that only in a dream. Therefore, when a devotee gets nightmares, it is possible that some prarabdha is getting finished. Krishna is so merciful. He is so merciful. He will, वो कहते हैं ना, जोर का झटका धीरे से लगे, वैसा है. Krishna is so merciful. That's why it's Bhaktavatsal. He will give suffering, but instead of losing an arm, we will lose a finger. Like that for devotees. He's very merciful because he wants us to do bhajan and he wants us to make this life our very last life in this material world. So dear devotees, I have discussed this with many sadhus also. We should not bother too much with astrology. That is the conclusion of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. We should not. Although it's a bona fide science, although it is accurate if you go to a good astrologer, but what is the use? What is the use of knowing? We are all suffering in this world and we are all going to face different tragedies. The best thing is to be Krishna Sharanagat. Because if we take astrology, the path of astrology, then we are not becoming Ananya. Our Ananyata towards Krishna is getting disturbed. Because now we are taking shelter of astrology, then the astrologer will say, ye upasana karo, ye upas karo, budhwar karo, shukravar karo, aisa karo. One astrologer even told my parents only that something very bad is going to happen in my life. So ye itne pandits ko hire karo aur itne lakh jap kara uske liye. Because they told me to chant. I said, I will not chant. I will only chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So then they said, theek hai, to wo nahi karega, to fir on his behalf we will hire these Brahmins and we'll pay them dakshina and we'll get them to chant for him. Like that. So aisa bhi suggest karte hain. And then I also know so many astrologers, really so many astrologers who use astrology to take money from devotees. I know at least 4 or 5 examples of devotees that I only sent that get a astrological opinion. This was years ago. And they tell weird things like बहुत बुरा होने वाला है या आप पे black magic है. There is black magic going on. That's why you are suffering. Your health is bad. So you give us this much money and we will do this yajna, this havan for you, this puja, this jap for you. And then every month they call and they say 11,000 रुपए भेज देना, 5,000 रुपए भेज देना, पूजा करनी है. अभी बहुत black magic हो रहा है आप पे, अभी बहुत खराब time आने वाला है. They scare devotees like that. They scare people like that and they take money. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada has written here that it is a great science. Look at this sentence. Everybody look. It is a great science. And misuse of a science does not make it useless. Some people are misusing it. They are misusing astrology. But that doesn't make it useless or wrong. Astrology is a bona fide science. But it is not for devotees on the path of Uttama Bhakti. It is not for devotees on the path of Uttama Bhakti. Our path is not dhanam na janana. Our path is anya abhilashita shunyam jnana karma dhyanavratam anukulena krishna shiranam bhakti uttama. Astrology is not anukul for Krishna Bhakti. I'll tell you why. Because it is disturbing our ananyata. The path of Sharanagati is like Draupadi. That just Krishna, Rakhe Krishna mare Krishna rakhe ke. Whatever Krishna wants. Maro bhi rakho bhi jo ichha tohar. Nitya dasa prati tua adhikar. You have adhikar, not the planets. So if you have to take shelter, I will take shelter of you, Krishna. Tua adhikar. You can do whatever you want. Maro bhi rakho bhi jo ichha tohar. You can do whatever you want. This is Sharanagati. And our path is the path of Sharanagati. And taking Anya Ashraya is against Sharanagati. Against Sharanagati. Anukula Sankalpa Pratikulya Savarjanam. So we have to varjanam. We have to give up things that distract us away from Krishna. It's a great science, but it is not for devotees on the path of pure bhakti. That we have to understand. Further down, Srila Prabhupada writes, by pious acts only can one be allowed to get good wealth, good education, and beautiful bodily features. Yes, we get all these money, good birth, good healthy body because of previous pious karma. No doubt about it. If somebody is born in a rich family, somebody is born with a very beautiful body, somebody is born with a lot of intelligence, then we must know that definitely this is a result of previous punya karma. But better than that is to be born in the association of devotees, to be born in a devotee family, to have sadhu sangha. What does it matter how our bodily features are? What does it matter whether we are 5 foot or we are 6 foot tall? Whether we are fair or we are dark complexion or wheatish complexion? How does it matter? Whether we have 20/20 vision or we have to wear glasses? How does it matter? Whether our teeth are straight or teeth are crooked? Whether our hair is gray or we have no hair by the time we are 30? How does it matter? These are all external things. But most important thing, our greatest fortune is, like the book says, when good fortune arises. When good fortune arises when we have sadhu sangha. Sadhu sangha, sarva shastra ka lava matra sadhu sangha, sarva siddhi. So we measure our good fortune based on how much sadhu sangha we have. And we have plenty of sadhu sangha in ISKCON. We have our Guru Maharaj, we have our Guru Varga, our Acharyas, predecessor Acharyas, founder Acharya Prabhupada, and all the predecessor Acharyas. Their work, their books are there, their Vani is there. We have so much satsang, so much sadhu sangha that there is no limit. So we are supremely fortunate. Next, further down, Prabhupada says, Garbhadan Samskaram is the first purificatory process, first samskar. Janmana jayade shudro, samskara dvija. We become dvija twice born because of samskar. Samskars are important, Srila Prabhupada says. It is the beginning of all pious acts to receive a good, pious, intelligent child. Garbhadan Samskar. Garbhadan Samskar, Srila Prabhupada said, you have to chant 50 rounds. 50 rounds. Both husband, not together. Husband 50, wife 50. So 100 rounds should be chanted in the house. And then you, on the proper time, you come together and then if Krishna desires, Radharani desires, then there will be a child. So Garbhadan Samskar. We have to hear Harikatha, we have to read Krishna book, we have to hear Acharya Vani, and in nice consciousness, husband and wife have to unite. And then what will happen? If they are eating Krishna Prasad, they are chanting 50 rounds, and they are coming together with the desire that we want a Vaishnava child. Then what will happen? They will get a very nice child, very pious child. There will be peace and prosperity in the world due to good and sane population only. Once my Guru Maharaj, Srila Radhanath Swami Maharaj, was asked, what is your opinion about population explosion? There is a population explosion in India. Karodo log hai yahan pe. So can you do something for reducing the population? We are doing abortions, MTP, medical termination of pregnancy, and you people are saying that abortion should not be done. You are against abortion. But what about the problem of population explosion? What solution do you have for population explosion? Srila Radhanath Swami Maharaj said, the main problem is not population explosion. The main problem is what the population is doing. And we are teaching people what they are supposed to do or what they are not supposed to do. And if in Dwarka, Maharaj said in Dwarka, there were so many. Krishna had 16,108 wives. Each of them had a palace. Each of them had one daughter. Each of them had 10 sons. All those sons had 10 sons and a daughter. So kitna bada parivar ho gaya. And Balram ji had his family and so many things where the Ugrasen Maharaj, Vasudev Maharaj was there, Devaki Rani was there. Such a big family, and then there were citizens. We have read the description. Everything was there in Dwarka. So how so many people could fit? Vrindavan mein. There are so many. Nanda Maharaj himself had 9 lakh cows. And Upananda had even more. And Vrishabhanu Maharaj to chodo. Bahut jada the. So kaise, how they can fit? We see Barsana is so small. Nandagram is so small. How so many? Because the problem is not population explosion. The problem is what the population is doing. If the population is pious, then Bhudevi will be most happy to have them. And she will provide everything. After all, Bhudevi, she is an expansion of Srimati Radharani. Expansion of Satyabhama Devi. Isn't it? Earth, Bhudevi. She'll maintain. And when the population is impious, then according to Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, 10th canto beginning, it simply becomes a burden on earth. And earth becomes bent over because of this heavy burden. She becomes kubja, hunchbacked, because of the burden. And what has Krishna come to do? He has promised, I have come to relieve the burden of the earth. Jayatu Jayatu Devo. What is that? Devaki Nandano Yam Jayati Jayati Krishna Vrishnivansha Pradipa Jayati Jayati Megha Shamala Komalango Jayati Jayati Prithvi Bharanasho Mukunda. This is the second verse of Mukunda Mala Stotra. Maharaj Kulashekar Alwar. Bharanasho Mukunda. Jayati Jayati Prithvi Bharanasho Mukunda. Krishna has come to mukt, to free earth of her burden. We see in the Charitra of Sri Jayadev Goswami, long story, but there were some very wicked people who had attacked Jayadev Goswami and thrown him in a well, left him there to die. Our Jayadev Goswami, the author of Gita Govinda. And then they came as impersonators and they were flat out lying to the king. At that time, Bhudevi spoke that I can tolerate any burden, but I cannot tolerate the burden of a Vaishnava Aparadhi and a liar. And earth opened up, cracked open, and swallowed all those miscreants right there in front of the king, in front of Jayadev Goswami, and killed them. Earth, Bhudevi. So the real question is what the population is doing. So like that. Srila Prabhupada says there will be peace and prosperity in the world due to good and sane population only. There is hell and disturbance only because of the unwanted, insane populace addicted to sex indulgence. Text 13. Tasya prita mana raja viprair dhaumya kripadivi jatakam Karayamasa vachayitva cha mangalam. King Yudhishthir, who was very satisfied with the birth of Maharaj Parikshit, had the purificatory process of birth performed. Jatakam. Learned Brahmanas, headed by Dhaumya and Kripa Charya, recited auspicious hymns. Vachayitva Chamangalam. Vachayitva Chamangalam. They recited auspicious hymns. Purport. There is a need for good and intelligent class of Brahmanas who are expert in performing the purificatory processes prescribed in the system of Varnashram Dharma. This is a very important point, my dear friend. Srila Prabhupada is expressing his desire that there should be qualified Brahmanas in our society. In fact, the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, ISKCON, which is our family, is meant to give to this world qualified Brahmanas. And Brahma Janati iti Brahman. One who knows Krishna in Tattva is a real Brahman. Because Krishna is Param Brahma, Param Dham, Pavitram Param Bhavan. Now, Brahman is not just that, okay, I'm second initiated, so I'm a Brahman. I have got the Yajna Pavit, I have got a Brahmin thread, so I'm a Brahman. No. A Brahman is known by the qualities and the activities. Chaturvaranam Maya Srishtam Guna Karma Vibhagasha. The Vibhajan, the distinction is made based on Guna and Karma. So Brahman should have the Brahminical qualities. Being peaceful, being clean, being religious, being truthful, being austere. But also karma. Qualities are there, but the qualities have to manifest into activity. And that activity is called karma. Guna karma vibhagasha. What is the karma of a Brahman? Pathan, pathan, yajan, yajan. A Brahman is supposed to study the scripture and teach the scripture, shastra. Pathan, pathan, yajan, yajan. and doing, performing yajna. Srila Prabhupada is writing, read this sentence. Srila Prabhupada is saying, there is a need for a good and intelligent class of Brahmanas who are expert in performing the purificatory processes prescribed in the system of Varnashram Dharma. What are these purificatory processes? They are samskaras, Garbhadan samskar, there is Jata Karma samskar, there is Upanayana samskar, there is Annaprashan samskar, there is Vivaha samskar, there is Griha Pravesh samskar. All these yajnas, pujas are there, samskaras are there in the Shastra. And Prabhupada is saying we need Brahmanas who can perform. So I have taken second initiation, but I don't know how to perform yajnas. But a true Brahman will have those tendencies: deity worship, performing yajnas. And this is a challenge in our society, that there are not many devotees who can perform these kriyas, these samskaras, these yajnas. I was very happy when Ajay Govind Prabhu and Kirtida Sundari Mataji's son, His Grace Ujjwal Rasananda Prabhu, he is very interested in all these yajnas and puja. So one should go to qualified Brahmana and learn all this, because these are Brahmical tendencies. These are because of previous samskaras, previous pious activities, that these thoughts come in the mind that I want to learn yajna. So this is very good. So we need more devotees like this who are interested in becoming true Brahmanas. I really like the mood, the purity, and the emphasis on being loyal to Srila Prabhupada in the teachings of His Holiness Srila Bhakti Vikas Swami Maharaj. Srila Bhakti Vikas Swami Maharaj. I like Maharaj's emphasis on being loyal to Srila Prabhupada and following the Shastra Vidhi as it is. I have heard that Maharaj doesn't give second initiation to devotees who have materialistic mundane jobs. He gives second initiation to those who are Brahmical, who have a Brahmical occupation, Brahmical lifestyle. Not that you take second initiation and then you, I don't want to name any particular profession, but yeah, you are in a non-Brahmical profession. Your jivika, your whatever you are doing to get artha, it should be a Brahmical occupation. And if that is not so, then Maharaj, I have heard, doesn't give second initiation. So this is good. We need leaders like that who can actually guide the family of devotees towards real dharma. So this is very nice. We should learn. Unless such purificatory processes are performed, there is no possibility of good population. Prabhupada, there is no possibility of good. Unless there is Garbhadan Samskar, there is no possibility of having a good population. Varna Shankar, like Bhagavad Gita teaches us. Unwanted population is there. It is not possible, however, to revive the Vedic processes of purification in this age for want of proper facilities and good Brahmanas. So all these elaborate yajnas that we read about in the Shastra, we may not be able to perform them today, Prabhupada says. It's a practical problem because we don't have the resources and we don't have qualified Brahmanas to do it. We don't have proper facilities and we don't have good Brahmanas. But Prabhupada says, but then there is the Pancharatrika system, also recommended for this. Śrīmad Narad Muni has given us this Pancharatrika process, the process of deity worship, the process of doing Satkriya. And Srila Gopal Bhatta Goswami has written a book about this, Satkriya Sar Deepika. So Brahmanas who are interested, they should learn. And there are devotees who are doing this. There is Shripad Mukundatta Prabhu in Vrindavan Dham. There are devotees in Mayapur Dham also who are, they have Yajna Shala and they perform yajnas there. And they also teach the Brahmical students these procedures. So Prabhupada says this Pancharatrika system acts on the Shudra class of men, which is the majority of population in Kali Yuga, Kala Shudra Sambhava. And it is prescribed purificatory process suitable to the age and time. Further down, Srila Prabhupada says that this purificatory process is only meant for spiritual purpose. not for some materialistic purpose of gaining fame, popularity, earning dakshina. No. After the Garbhadan purification process, there are certain other samskars like Simanto Nayana samskar, then Sadhabhakshan samskar during the period of pregnancy. And when the child is born, the first purificatory process is Jata Karma. Srila Prabhupada ji writes that when a child is born, as long as the child is connected to the mother through the umbilical cord, they are one body. They are considered one. But the child is considered to have been born when the umbilical cord is cut. When that umbilical cord is cut, you have to do the Jata Karma samskar. Prabhupada ji says that Dhaumya Rishi and Kripacharya were not just priests, but they were also great generals. We saw Kripacharya fought in the battle of Kurukshetra, like Dronacharya also. These are exceptions. They are Brahmanas, but sometimes they use their knowledge of Dhanur Vidya practically for the protection of Dharma. Even Parshuramji Maharaj was like that, Lord Parshuram. Such Brahmanas are not only rare, but also not available in this age. And therefore, for the purpose of spiritual upliftment in this fallen age, the Goswamis, Vande Rupa Sanatana Raghuyuga, Shri Jiva Gopalakam, Jai Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunath, Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Dāsa Raghunath. Just by taking their names, you become purified. Our 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan. The Goswamis prefer the purificatory process under Pancharatrika Vidhi than the Vedic rites. Srila Prabhupada says, more than the Vedic rites in today's day and age, in Kali Yuga, we should stick to the Pancharatrika process as given by the Goswami, specifically Srila Gopal Bhatta Goswami. Kripacharya, son of great Rishi Saradban, and was born in the family of Gautam Rishi. His birth was accidental. By chance, the great Rishi Saradban met Janapadi, a famous society girl of heaven, Apsara from Swarga, and they had a child. The semen was dropped by Rishi Saradban, and 50% of the semen became Kripacharya, 50% became Kripi. They were twins. And then Maharaj Shantanu was in the jungle hunting. He found them, brought them up as Brahmanas and Brahmani. And then Kripi was married to Dronacharya, and Kripacharya became a Purohit in the Kuru Vamsha. Purohit, Śrīmad Radha Govinda Das Goswami Maharaj explains what is the meaning of Purohit. Pura means age, like Purascharya, what you do before Diksha. So Pura means age, first, and Hit means benefit. So Purohit means one who stays ahead of the family, at the head of the family, and does the hit of the family. He's called Purohit. So they became Purohits. Then after the battle of Kurukshetra, we know that Kripacharya was one of those few people who survived on the Kaurava side, and then he was reinstated as the priest. And Maharaj Yudhishthir entrusted Kripacharya with Maharaj Parikshit as his disciple. And great administrators, kings and emperors were always under the guidance of learned Brahmanas like Kripacharya, and thus were able to act properly in the discharge of political responsibility. Yes, because Kshatriyas are the hands of society, the powerful arms, and Brahmanas are the brain. The hands need the brain to tell what the hand is supposed to do. If somebody is brainless, doesn't have a brain, then the hands will do anything. But we need a brain to tell us what to do, like that. So the Brahmanas tell the Kshatriyas what to do. Text 14. Hiranyam gama mahim graman ashvan nirpatir varan pradat swannam cha viprebhyaha prajatirthe cha tirthavit. Upon the birth of a son, King Yudhishthir, who knew how, where, and when charity should be given, gave gold, land, villages, elephants, horses, and good food grains to the Brahmanas. So you see, although Parikshit is the grandson of Arjun, Arjun and Subhadra's son is Abhimanyu, and Abhimanyu and Uttara's son is Parikshit Maharaj. But everywhere it is as if Yudhishthir Maharaj is the grandfather. That is because Yudhishthir is the king. So he is deciding everything. And Parikshit is the only surviving male member. So he belongs to the whole dynasty. It is not Mamaka Pandavaschaiva with Yudhishthir Maharaj. He's not partial. He's broad-minded. He's udaradhi. Only the brahmanas and sannyasis are authorized to accept charity from the householder. This is important, my dear friends. Once a brahmachari gave dakshina, that is not good. As grihasthas, we should not take like that. Never. So Prabhupada says only brahmanas and sannyasis are authorized to accept charity from the householders. So householders should give charity to the brahmanas and the sannyasis. That is important. We have to give. As grihasthas, we are all grihasthas. We are all grihasthas. So we should give charity. Of the 4 ashrams, brahmacharya ashram, grihastha ashram, vanaprastha and sannyas, only grihastha is the only one ashram that earns money. And therefore, it is a duty to give charity. Whereas the brahmacharis, the vanaprasthis and the sannyasis, they don't have a source of livelihood. So they are not expected to give charity. But because they are doing paropkar, because they may be purohit, they may receive charity. Last paragraph of this purport. It is enjoined in the Shastras that as long as a child is joined with the mother with the navel pipe, we saw that. That is, the birth is when the umbilical cord is cut. And that time the purificatory process of jata karma should be performed. Text 15. There is no purport, so we'll do text 15 and then we'll stop. Tam uchur brahmanas tushtha rajanam prashrayanvitam esha asmin prajatantau purunam pauravarshabha. The learned brahmanas who were very satisfied with the charities of the king. Who is the king? King Yudhishthir. Addressed him as the chief amongst the Purus and informed him that his son was certainly in the line of the descent of the Purus. So the Brahmanas are very pleased with the service that Maharaj Yudhishthir gave, the charity that he gave, and they blessed that this child will be a suitable representative of your glorious dynasty. He will be worth his salt, in other words. Text 16 onwards, we will see day after tomorrow. Granthara Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol. Thank you very much, dear devotees. Hare Krishna. Are there any questions? Yes, Kirtita Sundari Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranams.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Wonderful session. And I 100% agree with you regarding all what you said about astrology. But my question is that how about for marriage when we do matchmaking? Should we go ahead with it, or we should not go ahead even with that?
So what I have heard from my superiors is that because most of the devotees are not on the platform of Ananya Bhakti, they are not on the platform of Uttama Bhakti, we have to be honest with ourselves. We may not be on the path of pure devotional service. So it is better to take guidance from astrology. But we also have to see devotional traits of the person, and both spiritual evaluation of the person and the family and astrological evaluation. In most cases, both are recommended. I know one family, they very established devotee family, and they were looking for a match for their son. He was very, very eligible bachelor, very nice boy. He was Brahmin second initiated already, and very intelligent, very successful materially and spiritually. And there was a new Mataji who had joined Bhakti Vriksha. Only 6 months. Her family members, they were not devotees. Father used to smoke cigarettes, eat meat. But this daughter, she took to Krishna consciousness like a duck takes to water. She just came, and from day one, she started chanting 16 rounds. Every day she would come to the temple, do some seva, making garlands, this, that, cleaning, stitching deities' clothes. She just took to the whole process, doing kirtan, learning how to play kartal. She was just like a perfect devotee. And then the parents thought nobody can be better than her. She's such a nice girl. so sincere. And they didn't even look at anything, and they just got them married. And after marriage, this girl just had a change in her attitude. She started following the principles of her parents who are not in Krishna consciousness. And she would want her parents to come cook meat in the kitchen. Father would smoke in the house, watch movie loudly, TV on high volume. And these were very nice Brahminical, they were born Brahmins, and plus spiritually also they were second initiated, very nice pure family, and the whole atmosphere was getting contaminated. And it became a very ugly situation, actually. So, and then later on when they checked, then it was there in the astrological chart that this devotee, the girl, she doesn't have very many spiritual tendencies. And also it was not a good match astrologically, the husband and wife. So it was a disaster. If only they had checked it before. So because we are not on the path of, not on the platform of Sharanagati, we are not Sharanagat Bhaktas like Draupadi and Gajendra, it may be better to take help from astrology for things like marriage. So we get some guidance and we are not completely blind. But the higher principle is, I also know there are devotees who were told that, in fact, I was told by not one but many astrologers that this is an absolute mismatch. One astrologer told me, and he was very experienced, he said within 2 years you will die if you marry Radha Bhav. He had told me, Bilkul, this is nonsense match. Don't go into all this. He had told me. Multiple astrologers had told. So, but Krishna protects. Definitely Krishna protects. So it's up to you. It's up to the person. If the mood is that whatever it is, I'm going to take shelter of Krishna, nothing else matters, then follow the path of Sharanagati, where Maro bhi rakho bhi jo ichha tohar. And if one is not on the path of Uttama Bhakti and one is not very sure whether one can take the favorable and unfavorable circumstances of life in a devotional way, then better to take guidance from astrology. Like that. And also astrologer, I think it is better to take two opinions. This is what I have heard from senior devotees, that take two opinions, one from a good astrologer and one from a devotee astrologer. Because in the devotee astrologer can give you some devotional treatment, devotional solution. Instead of, do this graha shanti, do that. That is not favorable for Krishna Bhakti. But a devotee astrologer may give some verses from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam to recite, or some Narsimha Kavach, or some extra chanting, spiritual solution. But I have seen so many cases, Mataji, and ultimately the astrologers always say, the devotee astrologers, that you do extra Harinam, or you do extra mala, or you chant these prayers, Narsimha Kavach, or this and that. So why not do it anyway and be completely surrendered to Krishna like that? That is my opinion, Mataji. But in most cases, I think, because Prabhupada also wanted us to follow Varnashram Dharma, I think it is better to take help from a nice astrologer and take guidance. But at the same time, we should understand that despite the best astrological predictions, things can still go wrong. And because, like Prabhupada writes in the purport, that the astrologer may not be completely expert and perfect. Astrologers also make mistakes. So we cannot completely depend on astrology. I know one devotee, he was, in his chart, it was said that he will live till the age of 75, 72 or 75. Like that, a very nice astrologer had told. And even in his birth chart reading that was done, it was like that. And this devotee died when he was 30. He died when he was 30 in an accident. And the family members were asking me that how this is possible. His chart said otherwise, but what to do? This world, there is padam vipadam. So that is what I have heard, Mataji, that one can take help from astrology. At the same time, internally, we should know that ultimately only Krishna is our savior, and we have to take shelter of only Krishna. For the sake of compatibility, we may take guidance from astrology, that which match will be spiritually more compatible, more bhajan can happen, so that we don't end up in that situation like that I described, where the family was non-devotee, smokers, meat eaters. That should not happen. Okay, Mataji? Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. for all your guidance. Hare Krishna, Dhanavad Pranam.
Bhagavati Vasudha Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you. Thank you so much for this session. Prabhuji, like we were talking about prarabdha karma and some things are predestined. Is it applicable for some spiritual things like meeting a devotee, meeting guru, getting blessings, all those things? It also comes under prarabdha, predestined.
Vaibhava describes that prarabdha deals with our birth, the family, how much money we are going to earn, what job we are going to do, what diseases we will suffer, what physical problems we will suffer throughout life, the place where we will settle down, and how we will die and where we will die. This is all prarabdha. But Vaibhava describes, as far as spiritual things are concerned, whether we will meet Shri Guru, whether we'll get initiated, these things depend on our Bhakti Poshak Sukrati. So there is Prakritik Sukrati, which deals with the pious and impious activities on the material plane. And there is something called as Bhakti Poshak Sukrati. So it is said that, for example, if someone receives a Vaishnav guest, like Sally Agarwal, Gopal Agarwal, they were eating meat, they were living the American way of life, but suddenly their good fortune arose and there is a Mahabhagavad Uttam Adhikari Jagat Guru living in their house. This is Bhakti Poshak Sukrati. So we all have hosted guests in our house. Everybody has hosted guests in the house. But who has the opportunity to host Srila Prabhupada? That is Sally Agarwal and Gopal Agarwal. So we host people, but they hosted Prabhupada. So when we host people, that is Sukrati, because Atiti Deva Bhava. By doing Atiti Seva, we get material Sukrati, material piety. But what do you get by hosting Prabhupada? Cannot imagine what we will get by hosting Prabhupada. So that is called, you can call it Agyat Sukrati. Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur in Jaiva Dharma calls it Bhakti Poshak Sukrati, because wo Bhakti ka poshan karti hai. It nourishes our Bhakti. For example, somebody is just shopping in downtown and suddenly there is Atlanta Rath Yatra going on. So this person just stands, maybe bows down, or someone throws a small plastic bag of prasad, he catches it and eats. Bhakti Poshak Sukrati. Somebody is having surgery in the hospital and is NPO, nil by mouth, for a surgery. It happens to be Ekadashi. Unknowingly he has fasted. Bhakti Poshak Sukrati. So because of all such Bhakti Poshak Sukrati, or you are just going somewhere and someone is, now this is December, someone just gives you a book, Bhagavad Gita, and you hold Bhagavad Gita. I was talking to one devotee in Vrindavan, all these things you come to know. There was one boy, he's in military, in the Indian Army, and he is from Bharatpur. So when he was off duty, he came and he used to go for a jog in the jungle, exercise. Because Sipai hai na, soldier. So in the jungle, he met a very beautiful girl, which is very unusual. And he got attracted to her, she got attracted to him, and they started spending time together in the forest. And he's very healthy, 25-year-old Jawan. And his health started deteriorating. He started losing weight and coughing, fever, just started becoming weaker and weaker and started losing all his strength. And every day he would go to the forest and meet this girl and they would spend time together. And then he actually told that he was lying with her in the forest. Both of them were lying down. And something happened and he just told her, hey, can you pass me my shirt? And the shirt was a little far away. So she extended her hand like this and got that shirt and gave. So this fellow was aghast that ye to bhoot hai. She is not an ordinary person. How could she extend her hand like that? But he, out of fear, didn't say anything. Started trembling. He wore his shirt and went. But when he was going, she told him, every day you have to meet me. Every day. And if you tell anybody, then I will kill you. Because I have control over you now. So she was like a ghost who was using his body to fulfill her desires. So he went to a Vaidya in Bharatpur and said what to do. He didn't tell all the detail, but he said, okay, I'm losing weight, I'm having fever, what to do? I'm becoming weaker and weaker, what to do? So he gave some homeopathy medicine, not a Vaidya, he went to homeopath. He gave homeopathy medicine. Now, homeopathy doctors, they put the sugar pills, right, with medicine on it, and they wrap it in paper. So that paper was somehow a newspaper cuttings, and in that newspaper, in the obituary, there's obituary section where all the people who have passed away, their photo is there. So on top of that page, it said, Dehi no svinatha dehe, that Bhagavad Gita verse was there. So literally that paper that is got medicine, it was wrapped in that paper which had Bhagavad Gita verse on it. So he took some medicine, kept it in his pocket because he had to take it every few hours. Next day when he went, he had that medicine in his pocket. And he told that this woman could not come near him. So he would go near her and she would back off. Oh, no, don't come. He said, why, what happened? She said, you have got some power. He said, I have got no power. She said, no, somehow I am not able to come near you. You have got some power. She said, check your pocket. So he opened that and he saw just one verse of Bhagavad Gita was there in the pocket. And this ghost could not come because Bhagavad Gita verse was there. So she told you, throw that medicine, then I will come to you. He grabbed to his heart. He said, I will not give up. And Krishna, she shouted, he ran away and she could not do anything. And pura nikal gaya, his health recovered. So he was telling, my health recovered. This is the power of one verse of Bhagavad Gita accident in the pocket. Imagine Prabhupada's soldiers are going on the street and distributing Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya. What power is there? This is called Bhakti Poshak Sukriti. Somebody just takes a Bhagavad Gita and keeps it with them. It is Bhakti Poshak Sukriti. So it is because of Bhakti Poshak Sukriti that we meet Shri Guru, that we meet more devotees, that we get the encouragement to start chanting. And then as we chant, as we associate with devotees, we hear satsang, we participate in kirtan, our sukriti keeps increasing. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says there are 9 stages of bhakti. Ādav, Shraddha, Tatha, Sadhu, Sangha, Bhajana, Kriya, Anartha, Nivritti. Like that. It goes till Nishtha, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhav, Prem. 9 stages. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says the first is Ādav, Shraddha, correct? So in Jaiva Dharma, he deals with the question, where does the Shraddha come from? First is Shraddha. Because of Shraddha, we go to Sadhu Sangha. Because of Sadhu Sangha, Bhajan Kriya. Because of Bhajan Kriya, Anartha. Where did Shraddha come from?
Association.
Thakur says from Bhakti Poshak Sukriti. Therefore, Prabhupada is sending everybody, go do Sankirtan, distribute prasad. Somebody has no faith in midday meal in school, a Muslim child is eating Krishna prasad in school. That is Bhakti Poshak. Someday it will bear fruit. It is Bhakti Poshak Sukriti, eating Krishna prasad. So therefore, Bhakti Poshak Sukriti is what gives us that Shraddha, because of which we have Sadhu Sangha, Bhajan Kriya, we take initiation like that. Okay?
Thank you.
Shyamchandra Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you once again for your wonderful class. Prabhu, I have a comment and also a question. The comment is on the astrology again, because I once near Mayapur, I had the good fortune of discussing this point with His Holiness Subhak Swami Maharaj.
Yeah.
And so he was planning to take a flight. He finished the class and he was planning to go to the airport to board a flight for Dhaka from there. And then he sat in the car and he was waiting for almost around 20 minutes. So out of curiosity, I went and asked him, Maharaj, is everything okay? I mean, I see that you rushed to the car, but after that, the car is not moving. So what is the matter? So he said, yeah, I am waiting for the good time. So I was a bit puzzled and I asked him, good time? Then he said, yeah, astrological calculations now, Rahu is going on and Rahu will just get over. After that, I'll go. So then I asked him that for devotees, do we need to look at this level? Because, if the activity is spiritual. So he told me that even Bhaktisiddhanta Swami, when he was traveling, for travels, we need to take care. So certain things, we can leave everything to Krishna, but when we travel, even if it is for a spiritual cause, he said better to take care because Rahu and Ketu are very notorious and they can cause disturbance sometimes, even in our spiritual activities also. So from that angle, I just thought I'll share this point. I mean, I fully agree with you that at the end of the day, the more we surrender, the less will be the effects of the graha on the individuals. Prabhu, my question now, this Kripacharya, Kripacharya is highly respected Brahmana in the family here. And but Kripacharya was the chief architect to actually, plot how to kill Parikshit Maharaj's father, isn't it? I mean, he
Yes.
was the main person. And yet, I mean, Pandavas are aware of that. Yet, after all that is over, now when it comes to the birth of Parikshit, he is invited for the hymns and for, all the prayers, recitation, etc. So, on one hand, they know that, Kauravas were the main enemies, and then they're all vanquished now. But yet, Kripacharya was, forgiven and accepted back in the same position as what he was in the entire dynasty. So, can you just throw some light? Because, I mean, you're celebrating and the birth of a child for whose father this person was responsible. I mean, the death of the father, this person was responsible. So, I just wanted to understand this, the thought process, but that must have gone in the mind of Yudhishthira Maharaj and other respected Pandavas there.
Yes, Prabhuji. So thank you, Shamchandra Prabhu, for your comment on astrology, quoting the example of His Holiness Shubha Goswami Maharaj, one of our Guru Varga. So in our Bhakti Vaibhava WhatsApp group, I just shared a screenshot, Prabhuji. You can take a look at it. That is from Chaitanya Bhagavat. And just to support your point that you made, even in Chaitanya Bhagavat it is said that Punha Nishedila Prabhu Sayatna Kariya Hasiya Uthila Shubha Kshana Lagna Paya. That Nimai Pandit, Shri Nimai Pandit, he got up and left from Bangladesh back to Navadvip at a Subha Kshana, at auspicious moment. He waited for auspicious moment. So all this is there in our Vedic culture. In the Varnashram Dharma, we take help of astrology so that it is favorable for our Krishna consciousness. Just like if we fall sick, it will affect our bhajan. Na? If sore throat is there, we are coughing, sneezing, then it will disturb us in our chanting. We cannot do puja properly because mucus is coming from the nose, we are contaminated. So if we take a vaccine or if we wear a mask or we take precautions, then we will not fall sick and our bhajan will go good. So similarly, if certain things are going to create disturbance in our life because of astrological influence, and there is something we can do to avoid that, then why not? It is favorable for bhakti by doing that. We are keeping peace. So I totally support your point. We can take, and only the caution is that we shouldn't get too much carried away. I know one brahmachari, Saffron brahmachari, very nice brahmachari, excellent. He did so many services. Actually, all of you know him. All of you know him. He, very famous brahmachari. And he got so influenced by astrology. He saw that, yaar, devotees are saffron brahmacharis, but जब उनका 7:30 शुरू होता है, जब उनकी दशा बदलती है, तो वो भी सफर करते हैं. There is even disturbance in their spiritual practices. So he saw this in the brahmachari ashram. And he got so influenced, went so deep into astrology that he gave up his saffron, he gave up his chanting of Hare Krishna, and he had full faith in astrology now. And he is a professional astrologer. He has nothing to do with Krishna consciousness. He has officially renounced everything. And so we don't want to become like that. We don't want to get carried. Therefore, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur also, he was a astrologer, almost you can say he was a professional astrologer previously. But he gave that up. And he was preaching pure bhakti. Now, regarding your question about Kripacharya, it can be understood from 2 points of view, Shamchandra Prabhu. One is the Varnashram system, the Vedic culture, the Vedic way of life. And we saw that in detail during the interaction of Ashwathama with Draupadi Devi and Arjun and Bhim and Yudhishthira Maharaj. So even Ashwathama, so Kripacharya was supporting the Kauravas in the battle, and he was fighting from their side, and he was in, Prabhupada also writes in the purport, he was one of the Maharathis who attacked Abhimanyu. So Karna was there, Duryodhan was there, Dronacharya was there, Kripacharya was there. So there were 6 Maharathis they attacked simultaneously. And it was a very sinful murder of Abhimanyu. Yes. But you see, it was not as bad as what Ashwathama did. Ashwathama killed 5 sleepings without, at least Abhimanyu was fighting face to face. Although he was outnumbered, but he was fighting. He was aware. The 5 sons of Draupadi were not even aware, and they were killed by Ashwathama. But even Ashwathama was forgiven. Why? Because that was the Vedic way of life, that Brahmanas were given respect, especially the Kul Guru. He is the son of the Kul Guru, Dronacharya. And Kripacharya is the Kul Guru, one of the Kul Gurus. So a lot of respect was there. And yes, he took the wrong side. But because of the Varnashram system, that respect was there. And because he came back, and now Duryodhan is not there, because as a family Purohit, his dharma, his Kula dharma was to support the king, who happened to be Dhritarashtra Maharaj. So he was forgiven because of that, and he was accepted again in the family in that same role, because he was simply following the orders of the king and the prince, Dhritarashtra and Duryodhan. So he was forgiven. That is from the Varnashram point of view. But from a paralokik point of view, from the Siddhantic point of view, from the Bhakti point of view, we know that actually Krishna performs Leela. He is Leela Purushottam. Krishna is Leela Purushottam. He performs Leela. And all this is part of his Leela. That Kripacharya, Dronacharya, Bhishma Dev, they are fighting on the wrong side. So the Pandavas, also being pure devotees, they understood that it was all Krishna's desire. And Bhishma Dev says that all this happened, it was just influence of Kal, and Kal is under Krishna's control. So it's ultimately all Krishna's doing. Krishna's Leela is going on, and we are simply actors. So the Pandavas probably understood as pure devotees that Kripacharya is simply one of the actors. He's playing the role that destiny has given him, that Krishna has given him. So that way he was forgiven from the transcendental point of view also. I hope this is okay, Shyamchandra Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Shanta Radhika Mataji. Jai.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम।
धन्यवाद प्रणाम। हरे कृष्ण।
प्रभु जी, मेरा कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं है, मेरा एक रिक्वेस्ट है कि कल मेरे हस्बैंड की तबीयत खराब हो गई थी, तो हम डॉक्टर गए थे। तो जो वो डॉक्टर है वो हार्ट स्पेशलिस्ट है, काफी सीनियर डॉक्टर है एंड बहुत ज्यादा। तो ही वाज इंटरेस्टेड लाइक गीता के बारे में, प्रभुपाद जी की गीता थी उनके पास। तो आप ही के एज के हैं एंड बहुत बिजी उनका शेड्यूल है, मतलब बहुत फेमस है, वन ऑफ द बेस्ट डॉक्टर इन दिल्ली। तो क्या मैं आपका नंबर उनको दे सकती हूँ प्रभु जी? कैन यू गाइड हिम, अगर वो फोन करते हैं आपको तो?
ठीक है माता, नो प्रॉब्लम।
क्योंकि सेम प्रोफेशन है ना, और सेम एज ग्रुप है। अगर वो
ठीक है माता,
उनकी कोई भक्ति पोषक सुकृति जग जाती है, वो आ जाते हैं उसमें, तो
आई विल ट्राई माय बेस्ट माता टू सर। ठीक है,
हाँ, अगर प्रभु जी वो करते हैं तो देन आई विल टॉक टू हिम ना, जो नेक्स्ट मीटिंग में जब भी मिलेंगे।
एंड आवर प्रेयर्स आर देयर फॉर योर हस्बैंड फॉर हिज गुड हेल्थ। हरे कृष्ण।
थैंक यू प्रभु।
हरे कृष्ण। भक्ति प्रदा चंपकलता माता जी एंड देन सरोज नंदिनी माता जी।
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, धन्यवाद प्रणाम। प्रभु जी, माय क्वेश्चन इज, last class we were discussing about Mahaprabhu's Chaitanya Leela. In that you were telling that when Mahaprabhu went to Yamuna, Vrindavan, there his mood was Manjari Bhav. So I was thinking, what will be the bhav of Nityananda Prabhu? Can you please explain, Prabhuji?
Nityananda Prabhu's bhav is always to support and assist the mood of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. As Nityananda Prabhu, as he is Lakshman, he is Balram, always he is the savior, he is the sevak Bhagwan. There are two Bhagwans, Parama Karuna, Prabhu Duijan, two Prabhus, Nitai Gaurachandra, or Lakshman and Ram, or Krishna and Balram, Nityananda Ram and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Prabhu Duijana. There are two Bhagwans. One is a savior Bhagwan. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is savior Bhagwan, or Krishna Chandra is savior Bhagwan, and Balram ji or Nityananda Ram is Sevaka Bhagwan. So their mood is always to support and assist in the mission, in the mood of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, like that.
Well, like,
Nityananda Prabhu,
yes, Prabhuji, please continue.
Nityananda Prabhu is Ananga Manjari, and his Shakti, Shri Janava Thakurani, she manifests in this world as Ananga Manjari. And Ananga Manjari is the main Manjari who is at the heart of Radha Kund. Right in the center of Radha Kund is the Baithak of Ananga Manjari, eternally in Golok Vrindavan. That Ananga Manjari is Janava Devi, who is the Shakti of Nityananda Prabhu. Vasudha Janava Patim. That is the name of Nityananda Prabhu, the husband of Vasudha Devi and Janava Devi. So as far as the Goswamis are concerned, our 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan and their descendants are concerned, Sri Nityananda Prabhu is nourishing them in the form of Ananga Manjari, because Janava Thakurani came to Vrindavan, met Das Goswami, met Rup Sanatan Goswamis, blessed them. She was accepted as the leader of all the Goswamis. So like that, Nityananda Prabhu is serving in always. Okay? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Sarojanandini Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam. Thank you for the wonderful.
Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Jai Shri Prabhupada. Prabhu, I had a question about the Bhakti Poshak Sukriti that you were talking about. With regard to giving money to beggars, I've heard two different opinions on that. The first one being that we don't know how the beggars will use the money that we give. So in case they use it for some vikarma, then we would also get part of that karma. And instead of that, we could rather give them prasad or in some other form that they can receive. So that is one opinion. But the other opinion is that if you give them money and they really wish good for you and they glorify you, that also is a kind of Bhakti Poshak Sukriti for them, because they are glorifying devotees. So how do we understand these two perspectives, and can you please throw light on that?
So first of all, we should not consider ourselves a devotee. We should never think that if someone glorifies me, they will get Bhakti Poshak Sukriti, because that is ahankar at its worst. We should never think that if someone offends me, he is doing Vaishnava Aparadh. Ami to Vaishnava ya buddhi hai, amani na hoilo ami. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that if I have the buddhi that I am a Vaishnava, then I cannot be amani. So we should never think that I am a Vaishnava or I am a Vaishnavi. And if somebody glorifies me, they will get benefited. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says that Jai Mora Namle Tara Papakshay. Anybody who chants my name, takes my name, all his Tara Punyakshay, all his punya is destroyed. Jagai Madai Haite Muise Papishta, Purushera Kita Haite Muise Laghishta. I'm more fallen than a worm in the stool. I'm more sinful than Jagai and Madai. Jai Mora Namle Say Punyakshay. All his punyas are destroyed. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says like that. So Surdas ji says, Mosama Kona Kutila Khalakami. Who is Kutil, duplicitous, Khala, evil, Kami, lusty like me. Surdas ji, who has written thousands of beautiful poems, steeped in Vrajaras. He's saying, Mosama Kona Kutila Khalakami. So we should not consider ourselves a devotee. As far as the beggars are concerned, we should give them, definitely, as Grahasthas, it is our duty, our dharma to give. And best is to give them prasad, or if it is winter, we can give them some cloth. Chant Hare Krishna and give it to them. So they get to hear Harinam. That is better Bhakti Poshak Sukriti, that they heard Hare Krishna. So when you give them some prasad, just say Hare Krishna. They are getting prasad and they are getting to hear Harinam. So like that. If it is India, then you can even tell them, say Hare Krishna bolo, and they say Hare Krishna. Eka Krishna nama kare sarva papakshay. One Krishna nam, according to Chaitanya Charitamrita, destroys all sins. So like that, you can tell them chant Hare Krishna, give them some prasad, like you rightly said. It is the best dan. You give Krishna prasad or some cloth. But if we don't have that, then, and if we see that some people we know that, oh, this is a young fellow, he'll probably do charas ganja, he'll probably smoke a cigarette or something like that. So them definitely we should never give money. But if we see that, it's a helpless woman with a child or something, and we don't have prasad, then we can also give money, because a Vaishnava is soft-hearted, and Krishna knows our intention. Krishna knows our heart. Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto. Krishna knows our heart. Krishna knows his bhavgrahi Janardhan. Isn't it? Krishna is bhavgrahi. He knows our bhav. If our bhav is to help, and we are saying, Hare Krishna, Maya, take this, a few rupees. Aapko thoda sahayog, little help for you. Please take care. May Krishna bless you. May Krishna take care of you. Then Krishna understands our bhav. Even if that beggar misuses that money, that is the bad karma of that beggar. It is on him or her, not on you, not on us, because our intention is good. And in this regard, on the Bhakti Vaibhava group, I will share one excerpt from a harmonist magazine that was published. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada gives this verdict that we should give. We should never let a beggar go empty-handed. Best is to give prasad. Best is to give them some cloth or something that they need and chant Hare Krishna so they hear. And better still, you can ask them, Hare Krishna bolo. Let them say Hare Krishna. When Haridas Thakur was being beaten in 22 marketplaces, he was saying Hari Bol. They would whip him, Hari Bol, whip Hari Bol. And the Jallads, the Muslim executioners, they were saying, they were laughing, they were spitting, they were kicking him, spitting on him. And they were saying, Pata nahi kaun se mitti ka bana hai. We are beating him so much and still he's saying Hari Bol, Hari Bol. When Haridas Thakur heard, they said Hari Bol. He said, hey Krishna, you are so merciful, you made them chant Hari Bol. They have chanted your name, now please forgive them, now please deliver them. They were saying, laughing and saying, what? You are beating him and he's saying Hari Bol, Hari Bol. And Haridas Thakur was in bliss. Twice they said Hari Bol. Twice they chanted the name of Hari. That we can also give something and we can say Hare Krishna and then give. But if we don't have prasad, then we should give money. Provided the beggar is a Yogya Patra, seems reliable. But some people we can know. I have seen some beggars, they're like smoking in front of you. Or at the traffic light, they're smoking. So such people, we don't give money. We just say Hare Krishna. We just fold our hands and let go. But better to keep some prasad and give them and let them hear Hare Krishna. But if it's a innocent beggar going through hardships, better to give some money to them. And our intention is good. And we can tell them, use it for food. Now, if they don't listen and they misuse it, then it is their karma, not your. Krishna will accept your bhav. Krishna is waiting to pass us. Krishna is that examiner, he wants to pass us. He's not waiting to fail and find faults. His bhav grahi Janardhan. Okay, Sarojanandini Mataji? Is that okay?
Thank you very much, Prabhu, for clarifying. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Okay, Parima Mataji wants to say something about astrology. Parima Mataji, please go ahead. That will be the last comment, then we'll stop.
Hare Krishna. Sorry, Prabhuji. I know it's too late, but I just heard this pastime today from a very nice Vaishnava who is from Nathdwara actually, who lived in Nathdwara, but now he's here. He said that he has a devotee friend in Varanasi, again a very, very pious Vaishnava family who has been worshipping Thakurji since like generations. And it's a big family, rich family, and they have 4 or 5 brothers who worship Krishna on, exactly like the temple standard. They follow the temple standard and they are very, very pious Brahmanas, and they live in Varanasi. So this particular person, he got he narrated this incident to this man that, I got like first daughter and I was very happy that, I got like Lakshmi is born in my house. Then I got a second daughter. Then again, I said I was very happy. But when I got the daughter for the 3rd time, a thought came in my mind. No, when the wife got pregnant, when he wanted a 3rd child, he went to an astrologer and he said that, you know what, I want someone to continue Thakurji's worship in my family. So I want a son now for the 3rd time. So this man, he was a great astrologer from Varanasi, of course, a very, very learned astrologer. He calculated the time up to the ghadi, the second, and he gave that time, and it was like so perfect, his calculation, that he said that, at this time, if you basically unite with your wife, then you will get a son, definitely. This is my calculation and this will be the horoscope and everything he calculated. And he said, I cannot go wrong on this. And so, you'll definitely get a son. But he got a 3rd daughter. So he was feeling that who will continue this worship? So finally he said, I got Thakurji in my dream, and he said, who are you to decide who will continue my worship? I decide who does my worship. It's not for you to decide who will do my worship. So leave it to me and, be happy with whatever you have got. So this is just what I wanted to share because I heard it today.
Jai Ho. Harima Mataji ki Jai. Thank you.
No, Prabhuji, don't say that.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Krishna is mysterious, na? Krishna is very mysterious.
Yes.
Makes his arrangements. Okay, thank you, dear devotees. See you day after tomorrow. Hare Krishna. So Shyamchandra Prabhu, I have shared that thing about auspicious moment, Mahaprabhu also following. And Sarojanandini Mataji, I have shared the opinion of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur also about giving charity to beggars. Okay? Hare Krishna. Jai Shri